Okay. Okay, I'd like to welcome everybody to the Town of Lewiston work session for March 8th. I'd ask everybody to please turn off all cell phones, pagers, and electronic devices. Assisted listening devices are available for the hearing impaired. And I'll ask everybody to please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Also like to ask for a moment of silent reflection, please. Thank you very much. Moving on to the agenda approval, I need to under Supervisor Broderick for legal, be a resolution. What would we call that, Mr. Bax?
This is the real property tax law, 575B.
575B. So that'll be for the real tax law, 575B. And I think Chief Previtt has one under Councilman Jacoby for a police hire
And I have one other resignation for the case as well.
and a resignation.
And I have a hire under mine also for Water Pollution Control Center.
Water Pollution Control Center hire. And I believe that'll do it. So can I get agenda approval as amended?
Moved.
We have a motion and a second.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carried. The abstract, Councilman Morial.
Yes. I move to approve the regular abstract claims of number 02152 to 02156, 2020, and 00392 to 00575, 2021. And the recommended payment be amount of $987,542.91, plus a post audit of $3,322.66.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Approval of the meeting minutes for the regular town board meeting on February 22nd.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Department head statements. We'll start with Chief Previtt.
I'm covered under the agenda.
Okay. Carol, anything?
I have nothing.
No. Bill Conrad, anything on the?
No.
No. Dan Zano?
The only thing I have is I got a phone call from Jim Noakes today from GHD, and the water line project will be starting Monday morning.
The 15th. Yes.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, I talked to Bob Landon today too.
Okay.
Where they starting at now?
Morgan, and River.
Really?
Did you hear that, Bill?
No, not at all.
They'll be starting the water project back up again, Millhurst construction a week from today on the 15th. And they'll be starting on Morgan Drive. Yeah.
River Morgan.
Yeah. Anything else? Jeff Ritter? Anything? Mike Dashino?
I'm on the agenda, Mr. President.
Okay. Tim Masters, anything?
I don't have anything at this time either, Mr. Supervisor.
Okay. Bob Lannon, anything?
I'm on this agenda, Mr. Supervisor.
Okay. Melinda Olick, are you there?
I'm here. I'm on the agenda also.
Okay, thank you very much. And I think that'll do it. I always forget somebody. Finance Director Agnello, budget revisions.
Yes, I submitted 5 2020 budget revisions, and I asked the board for approval.
I move. Move to accept these and as written.
Second. Bill Gabbard, second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carried.
Thank you. I also ask for board approval to hire a part-time junior accountant to begin Tuesday, March 9th, at the hourly wage of $19 per hour.
And I don't have his information. What's his name?
John Walker.
John Walker. Did you hear that, Bill?
Yes.
Okay. So just
Move
some,
for approval.
okay, we have a motion. Can we get a second?
Second with
Okay,
discussion.
so we have a motion and a second. We had two candidates apply. They were both qualified, very qualified. It was a tough choice. And, Mr. Walker's a young man that went to Niagara University and seems like a really good candidate.
No, my only question was, it's full-time?
No, it's a part-time, non-union position.
Yeah, I saw the letter that you sent out. If it was in there, I missed it, I'm sorry. You sent an email out. Right?
Yes.
Yeah, I read about it. So can we?
Okay. So we have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried.
Thank you.
Okay. Under Supervisor Broderick, we'll start with legal.
So, Mr. Supervisor, you asked that I comment a little bit on the resolution that's being proposed. This is in response to a proposal from the state to enact what they are calling Section 575B, which is an amendment to the real property tax law. And effectively, it would allow the state to, in effect, control the taxes that can be imposed on properties that are alternative energy sources, so solar and wind. Obviously, if they were to do so, it would take our local governing powers away, our local control over that issue. And in effect, if they reduce the tax below our local tax rate, would then be depleting our tax base by that purpose. And as we know, we already have a lot of interest in solar and whatnot in this area. It is my opinion, and I believe the town board's opinion, that we want to keep that local control with the town board. So what I will do is I will read this resolution, which is in opposition to the addition of Section 575B to the real property tax law in 2022 New York State budget. Whereas the New York Real Property Tax Law, Section 487, provides a 15-year real property tax exemption for properties on which wind or solar energy projects are built. And whereas the real property tax exemption is not mandatory under current law, since Section 487 allows local governments to opt out of the exemption and tax wind or solar energy projects based on their full assessed value. And whereas the town does not opt out of the current Section 487, it can require the wind or solar project to enter into a payment in lieu of taxes, otherwise known as pilot agreement. And whereas under the current Section 487 provision, towns have the ability to negotiate a pilot with a developer or require that the project pay full taxation based on the assessed value. And whereas through the budget process, the state seeks to add Section 575B to the real property tax law, which will drastically change the way real property is assessed for wind and solar energy systems, in parentheses, equal to or greater than 1 megawatt, end parentheses, by establishing a statewide standardized approach for real property tax assessment for wind and solar energy projects. And whereas through the budget process, the state also seeks to mandate that the assessed value for solar or wind energy projects will be determined by an income capitalization or discounted cash flow approach that considers an appraisal model created by the New York State Department of Taxation and Finance, and in consultation with the New York State Energy Research and Development Authority. And whereas through the budget process, the state determined assessment will also include a solar or wind energy discount rate that is set annually by the New York State Department of Taxation and Finance. And hereby be it resolved, the town of Lewiston holds strongly to the right to home rule established in Article 9 of the New York State Constitution, especially with regard to land use and real property taxation. And be it further resolved, Governor Cuomo has introduced Section 575B in this year's budget bill in order to abolish the town of Lewiston's ability to assess real property used for renewable energy projects and effectively eliminate any control currently provided by section 487. And be it further resolved, the town of Lewiston is adamantly opposed to the addition of section 575B to the real property tax law in the 2022 budget. And be it further resolved, the town of Lewiston calls upon Niagara County and New York State elected officials to oppose section 575B of the real property tax law before it is enacted in the budget process. So we would need one of the board members to make that motion second, and then
Okay.
I would say do a roll call vote on it.
Okay. Bill, did you make that motion? Okay, Bill Guyman.
Second.
John Jacoby seconded. Any more questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Roll call vote, right?
Oh, I'm sorry.
All right.
Councilman Guyman,
Yes.
Councilman Jacoby,
Yes.
Councilman Morial,
Yes.
Councilman Myers,
Yes.
Supervisor Broderick.
Yes. And Carol, I have a copy for you.
Oh, thank you.
Yes. Yes. Okay, anything else legal-wise?
There is the, we can jump ahead if you'd like to the Sanborn Playground resolution. That's under Mr. Guyman's agenda, but it requires a resolution that I have in front of me.
Bill, are you okay with that, Bill, moving forward on that? You're muted, you're muted
I'm
too.
sorry. I think I'm better now.
Yeah.
Okay, so this is a resolution for the project that the, unless Bill wants to provide any comments, it's for the playground at, what's the location, Bill?
Similar part.
The fire hall. So in order for this project to be submitted to the Greenway, you have to pass the following resolution. Whereas the town board desires to acquiring the funds to complete Town of Lewiston 2001 Sanborn Park Playground Project in the amount of $100,000. And whereas the town board desires to provide this type of amenity to residents at the lowest possible cost to the town and town taxpayers. And whereas the town board desires to apply for financial assistance from the Niagara River Greenway. And whereas the town board commits to providing the required local matching funds to ensure the timely implementation of the proposed project. Therefore, be it resolved that the town board authorizes and submits an application for the Niagara River Greenway funds for the Sanborn Park Playground Project in the amount of $110,000, and be it further resolved that the town board authorizes the supervisor to sign all documents and agreements related to the Niagara River Greenway program application.
Make that motion?
Second?
We have a motion and a second. Any questions?
We just need a roll call vote on this one also, please.
Councilman Guyman,
Yeah, go ahead, Bill.
In addition, Mr. Guyman, I think the sentiment was also the fact that if you're spending these types of funds year after year within that 1 mile stretch of land, eventually the members to the Greenway are gonna run out of projects that meet the criteria. So I think this, again, meets with all of the requirements posed to the town of Lewiston. That's true.
Okay, so we have a motion and a
can I ask you a question?
Yeah, go
It's
ahead.
probably none of my business, but the first whereas it's 100,000, and then the first resolve is 110. Is that correct?
It is correct. My understanding is that they're asking for a little bit of additional money in case there's an overage for some reason.
Hold on one second. Mike, you want to answer that?
But on the resolution, there's a typo. One says 100,000, the other says 110. Just to clarify, is it 100 or 110?
It's 100.
It's 100.
Fair enough,
Okay.
then. I thought we had talked
No,
about
there,
that.
yeah, there is contingency in there.
Okay, there's already contingency built in. I thought the extra 10 was for a contingency, so, I think we'll probably need a friendly amendment to the prior resolution.
You. Okay. Just wait a second.
I second that.
Okay. So we have a first, or a motion and a second. All in favor?
Roll call.
Roll call.
Oh, I'm sorry, I did a roll call again.
Councilman Guyton?
Yes.
Councilman Jacoby?
Yes.
Councilman Morial?
Yes.
Councilman Myers?
Yes.
Supervisor Barber?
Yes.
Yes.
Thank you, Al.
You're welcome.
Appreciate that.
Okay. Anything else under legal, or are you all set?
I believe I'm all set. Thank you.
Okay. Engineering, Bob Lannon?
Yes, Mr. Supervisor, one item I have is an introduction of the new local law for chapter 175. This is due to the fact that the Federal Emergency Management Agency, or FEMA, recently updated its flood insurance rate maps, that are called term maps, okay? That adjusts the simplification flood elevations in a couple of areas throughout the town along the river. In order to embrace and adopt those changes, the town must adopt a local law. Okay, I believe you all have, should have, maybe have copies of that in front of you. But that law was first drafted by EDC to meet all state and federal requirements. They forwarded that to the town. We can fill in the blanks, if you will, and some name and address type of information. And I had Attorney Bax review that, he was okay. We then sent that draft back to the DEC for their blessing, if you will, and they approved our draft. We had then proceeded to issue PHC coordination letters for the seeker in connection with the adoption of the new local law. That PHC coordination timeframe will expire on March 11th, which is, I believe, Thursday, if I'm not mistaken. To date, we've only received one comment, and that was from the DEC saying that they had no comment. So I'm not expecting anybody else to weigh in, to be honest with you. It's very procedural. The town, and all elected will be the lead agent. So that is working its way through its process. In order to comply with the schedule that the DEC and FEMA have articulated, it will be necessary to call for a public hearing this evening. I'm hoping the time will work out. Mr. Baxter, please correct me if I go astray. But we will then be able to have a public hearing on the draft local law 2 weeks from tonight, on the 22nd of March. And if that all that falls into place, we'll have a local law adopted in time to be submitted to the DEC by April 4th, which is the current deadline. So that's just a lot of background, but again, all in all, it's very straightforward, very procedural. And I would ask the board to consider calling for a public hearing in 2 weeks from tonight. Do I have the time frame down?
Yes, you do.
Correct, Mr. Bax? Okay.
Yes, we all set.
Okay.
With the board's, information, I've reviewed it, it is fine. A lot of the modifications, were for flood and, other related issues that really have very little to do with the town, but needed to be updated, on the FEMA.
They do this every 10 years, don't they?
I think they update the map every 10 years or
Yeah.
so, and I would rely on Mr. Landon
Yeah.
for that timeline, but that sounds about right.
Yeah.
Do we have to have a tentative declaration on seeker, or is this accept? No, this will be a seekable action, yes.
But not tonight, right?
Not tonight, yeah, correct, not tonight.
Right.
Well, Mr. Supervisor, before the back call for a public hearing, like I said, last week there was, two by Bob Landon, set it for 6 o'clock on March 22nd.
Yes. Second. We have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay. Should be a public hearing on the 22nd.
Beautiful, thank you. The last, just bit of information I share with the board,
Anything else, Bob?
No, that's it, unless there are any questions for me.
I think we're good. Renewal of liquor license for Lewiston Number 2 Fire Company. Town Lewiston Clerk, this is notification that we at Lewiston 2 Fire Company have filed to renew our liquor license with the state of New York. Renewed license will take effect April 1st, 2021, and expire on March 31st, 2023. So I don't believe we make any motion.
Just acknowledge receipt.
Yeah. Yes, thank you. And then, the town of Lewiston and every municipality in the state of New York that has a police department has been tasked with, coming up with a police reform document. We put a group together, which, we chose through a meeting, and that group's met pretty much every Thursday. We got our survey results, and we finalized our police reform document. And part of the requirements is a public hearing. So I would like to make a motion to schedule a public hearing on March 22nd at 6 p.m. also for the police reform document to be discussed. That we do not have that document in our hands today. We will have it, I believe, by Wednesday. That document will be posted on our website, and we will try and share it through our Facebook page and both the Lewiston Porter Facebook page and email, and the United Wheatfield Facebook page and email. I'm sure it'll be shared numerous times. So so I ask for a public hearing on the 22nd of March at 6 p.m.
Am I seconding or making a motion?
You can second.
I'll second that.
Okay, with a motion and a second, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Carried. Councilman Guyton.
We have a resignation, retirement, we've had Ron Clark working at the senior center as the handyman and craftsman for 5 years, and he has decided to go away with dining school and relax and enjoy life. He thanks for the past years, he was with Google and Marcelo, and most recently going to Aurora. So we accept this resignation and do that.
So we have a motion. We have a motion and a second. All in-
Discussion?
Yes, go ahead.
Yeah, I'd just like to comment on Mr. Clark. I've known him for many, many years, and although we weren't close friends, observing him driving the van and working around there, he's probably one of the premier employees that we had. Just a friendly, polite, nice man. The seniors were lucky to have him.
Good.
About that.
So we have a motion and a second. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carried.
And just as, Melinda, guided in, a lot of activity out at the senior center, particularly when we look at the taxes done. Good, and we're also hearing that a lot of our seniors are able to get their COVID-19 vaccine, so that's a good sign. She's doing a great job.
Go ahead, Melinda.
We're very sorry to be down late, and so on the road, 8 months I worked in that. It's still coming on Wednesday for lunch, and we are having taxes on Mondays and Fridays, which may create a bit of a problem for the door installation. We'll have to figure out that, figure out how that's gonna work, but, it's kind of busy right now for that. People coming and going, and we really don't have another, entrance or exit to use, so we're kind of working that out right now.
Okay. Thank you, Melinda.
You're welcome.
Anything else, Councilman Guyton? Okay. Councilman Jacoby.
Yeah, I have two things tonight, both with the police department. First is a resignation, and I thought I would read this in. It's, Dear Chief Private, Captain Kane, Town Board, I would like to notify you that I'm resigning from my position as police officer patrolman in the Town of Lewiston Police Department effective March 8th. Thank you very much for the opportunity you've given me to grow as a police officer. I've genuinely enjoyed my time as an employee of the town of Lewiston Police Department. The experience has taught me a lot of life lessons and how to apply them in everyday life. I want to personally thank Chief Previtt for believing in me. You have made it very easy to work in such an amazing department. You gave me a chance when everyone else gave up on me. I'm forever grateful for that. Captain Kane, thank you for always being patient with me. You showed me how to do many things as I grew up through law enforcement. Captain Kane, you were the guy to go to when you worked the road with me and now as a supervisor. I am very proud to say I have the best supervisors in law enforcement. Last but not least, thank you to the Town of Lewiston Board for allowing me to have the opportunity of a lifetime in the best police department. Starting March 12, 2021, I will be taking a position as a federal agent with the United States Border Patrol to further my career in law enforcement. I can say that the Town of Lewiston Police Department and the employees within have prepared me to take the next steps in my future law enforcement career. I think his statement speaks highly of our department, Chief. And I think you're doing a fine job up there. And we have
a motion, now we need a second.
Oh, yes.
So we have a motion and a second. Go ahead. Josh Salata.
Yep.
Josh Salata. So, we have a motion and a second. Any questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Good luck to Josh in his next venture.
And I have one more thing, and you'll be happy to know that I'll stop talking and I'll turn this over to the police chief.
We have, we conducted our interviews for the open full-time position that we have, and based on the interviews, I'd like to recommend that we hire Jonathan Smith, who's now part-time with us already, into a full-time position, and that would be as per current contract.
Did you hear that, Bill? Oh, yeah, just for a new hire, Jonathan Smith, who's a part-time police officer with us now, and he wishes to hire him as full-time.
I'll make that motion.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried.
That's all I have to know.
Awesome, thank you, John. Councilman Moriarty.
Yeah, for highway, I'd like to make a motion to accept the final bid of $1,625 for a 2003 Chevy Silverado 3500 utility truck that we placed on the auction.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any questions? I talked to Dave Train today. He was thrilled to get that price, and this is from the Parks Department.
Correct.
So, so we have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carried.
Then also for the Water Pollution Control Center, I'd like to make a motion for a new hire for a wastewater treatment plant operator. His name is Steve Aurora. Did I say that right?
Yes. Yep. Off the Niagara County Civil Service list.
Okay, did you copy that, Bill?
Yes, if that's the motion, I'll second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Any questions? All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carried.
Thank you. That's all I got tonight.
Okay. And Councilman Myers?
Nothing for that.
Nothing further? Okay. I would ask you, I don't believe we have any guests on our Zoom, and everybody in-house here is a town employee, so I guess there's nobody that would like to speak for the privilege of the floor or any public concerns. So I'll move on to upcoming meetings, which, well, we have one correspondence I'll read into the record. It's from Cooper Sign Company. It says, "Attention, Donna Garfinkel, I'd like to thank you for allowing Cooper Sign Company the opportunity to provide the sign replacement for the town of Lewiston. As a thank you to the town of Lewiston, Cooper Sign Company is donating $50 to the Niagara Gospel Rescue Mission in Niagara Falls, New York. The mission has been a positive light in the Niagara community and shares the vision of sharing the gospel. Thank you again for your business and the wonderful sign replacement for Lewiston. Best regards, Jennifer Cooper. So having read that, we'll move on to upcoming meetings. The Historic Preservation is March 9th at 6 p.m. The Environmental Commission is March 9th at 7 p.m. The Zoning Board of Appeals is March 11th at 6:30 p.m. The Planning Board with a full slate is March 18th at 6:30 p.m. The regular town board meeting will be March 22nd at 6:30 p.m. Also, there'll be a public hearing at that meeting for the flood law at 6 p.m. and a public hearing for the police reform document at 6 p.m. as well. I'd like to say before we dismiss, for everybody to have a safe and very healthy St. Patrick's Day. And with that, I'll ask for a motion to adjourn. Oh, go ahead. Go ahead.
Oh, we're doing that right here in the courtroom.
In the courtroom. Yes. Thank you, Bill. So with that, I'll ask for a motion to adjourn. Bill Guyton, second. Jason Myers, all in favor? Aye. Opposed? Okay, thanks, everybody. Good night.
Somebody wants to get out here early.
Until next time.
Get home safe, Mark.